enforcement, local law enforcement, they are always going after crime. And they don't say, oh, you committed a murder? Oh, but you're an immigrant? Well, let you go, right? So they are always focused on crime. They continue to say things like the illegals and that they broke the law coming in. But what they're not telling the American people is that it is a civil violation. It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations. And so that's why I wanted to point out, don't give me this fake outrage about criminals roaming our streets when you guys stand 10 toes down for the biggest criminal that we have ever seen go into the White House. Ha 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 ha.
All right. Welcome once again to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially, and this is the midweek report. As you are coming into this broadcast, please hit that like button, share this out on your social media if you would. And of course, this is the news break edition, so that means this is a tape delayed broadcast. And as tape delayed, normally this video or these videos are also off camera. However, I wanted to make an announcement due to this weekend being me and my wife's wedding anniversary weekend. There will be no live this weekend. So there might be shorter videos throughout the weekend, but we will not be back in an actual like sit down video like that until next week. So with that, I just wanted to, and this broadcast is not going to be long at all either, but as you're coming in, hit that like button, share this out. If you have not already subscribed to this channel, subscribe now. Hit that notification bell. Hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded or premieres. And if you're watching on X, make sure you come over here and subscribe. Now, you can also join this channel if you would like to support this channel in a different way and become a member. That way, some of the videos that premiere, majority of the videos that will premiere will air first in the members area, and then after that for the regular general public. However, there will be some videos that strictly stay in the members only area. With that being said, peace, power, blessings, and protection be upon each and every one of you members. Thank you for all of your support, and thank everyone for tuning in. Now, today, I have a topic of Jasmine Crockett once again, and we're talking about Billionaire Boule Boulevard. And I guess we'll have to call this episode 1. Something tells me we will be doing this again. And about that Boule Boulevard, we are starting with Jasmine Crockett. You know, I wanted to check something out. Because people are looking up her past and her history. The one thing that does not show up at all, which I find kind of interesting, is that she doesn't, if you Google her campaign, there's not one campaign flyer that you will be able to find for Jasmine Crockett. When she took over, there were other people who were previously looking to take the woman's seat, which I believe her name is Edie Johnson, who ended up passing in 2023. There were other people who were really ready to, I guess, work for the people. I heard a man and another older woman who both Black, who had a lot of long-standing time intertwined with the community. However, if you listen to the way they talk about the woman who was sitting there for, I guess, close to 30 years, she's been there since like the 90s. This Edie Johnson lady who passed in 2023. That's who Jasmine Crockett filled her seat in Texas State for Texas State. Here's the thing: you can't find any campaign, anything for Jasmine Crockett. Not for her running for her seat in Texas, to which I thought she would have had, to now her stepping in as a representative in Washington. This woman has no history. And somehow she's on everybody's TV every day. And like I've said, you got to wonder what her connections are. And, you know, once you start figuring out where the money is, for those who don't know who that white man is, that's Alex Soros. Soros for sorors. Now, as you guys know, Jasmine Crockett went to private school. Jasmine Crockett did not go to an HBCU yet, and still, she is still part of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Kind of interesting. There she is throwing up her Delta sign, right? Right next to the picture of her and Alex Soros. Now look at all the other pictures on the other side of her. What do you see? You see Elizabeth Warren, Hakeem Jeffries, Raphael Warnock, Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer. And at the top, the heads are cut off, but you're looking at Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. See, these people are bought and paid for. And you also see Chuck Schumer. Of course, you see Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. All of these people take billionaire money. I want you to think about all the things you hear from Jasmine Crockett right now. Talk about billionaires, 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 and all the billionaire money, and the billionaires got so much say-so. Listen. Listening to Jasmine Crockett is almost as bad as listening to Cynthia G. If you want to hear nails on a chalkboard, there it is. Oh my God, this kills me. Now, when we go to these searches, there's nothing that should be hidden about a political campaign. So my question is, why has Jasmine Crockett never had a campaign? It seems to me now this will be her first legitimate campaign running to keep her seat. Most of y'all don't know that, and I'm sure a lot of people looking out here wouldn't know. But see, I want to know. My wife told me something. She's like, I didn't even know who she was until you started talking about her. And the reason why I started talking about her is because I seen the move early. Oh, I see the play. And then when she did the whole bleach blonde, bad built butch body, and nobody bats an eye at the fact that she called her a butch. You know, it's like, okay, somebody like her, and I have to assume that she got a relationship with them people. Now we find out that she's not married, she's childless, never been proposed to. She's never been proposed to, ladies and gentlemen. Out of all of these 43 years, nobody wanted to wife her up. But they are pushing her to the forefront to be the most visible and vocal Democrat right now. And considering that she's a Black woman, I don't suspect they would be, it's going to be so easy to pivot from her. If you're trying to please Black women, you might be stuck with Jasmine Crockett. And let me tell you, an unmarried, sassy Boule Mammy is not going to get you no wins in the near future. She's lucky if she could get reelected. But right now, there's a whole Black man that the media is ignoring. Matter of fact, what's this man's name? Because you ain't gonna hear his name on television. Now, what is this guy's name? Hold on, let me see. Sheldon something, ain't it? Something Sheldon. Let me see. There it is. There he is. Sheldon Daniels. He's a Republican. He's running for U.S. House, Texas, 30th District. Same district as Jasmine Crockett. So he's the Republican running against her. And, you know, he has quite the following. Let's see if he has any video or clip. Here's a clip of a word of advice. So this is a clip from him. Wait a minute. Let's do this. So Jasmine Crockett, I guess. So Jasmine Crockett actually has retweeted this guy, I guess, once. So let me play this audio.
Everybody, I just wanted to check in and let you guys know what I'm up to. So I've been out here on the western border of TX30, out here in Grand Prairie, very close to Six Flags, if any of you guys are familiar with those. But I've been out here at this apartment complex all day, passing out flyers, talking to voters. I actually managed to get 220 people to commit to voting for me in 2026. Some of them were swing voters, many of them Republican voters, and a couple of them actually have been voting Democrat their entire life. And so this is what I'm out doing every single day. I'm also trying to secure some real estate so we can get a headquarters for the party. But yeah, you can learn more. You can keep up with everything we're doing at beingthisforus.com. And thank you guys for the followers. Oh my gosh, I started out, I think I have maybe 50, 60 followers. I think I'm up over 20,000 followers now. That's all thanks to you guys. Thank you all so much. Sean Daniels is for you. Everybody.
Okay, so this was 3 days ago. He said he had how many followers then? 20,000? 3 days ago, he had 20,000 followers. Today, he has 62,200 followers. That's enough to make some noise in Dallas, Texas. Jasmine Crockett might have an issue. And she doesn't have the relationship with the soil. If you guys haven't noticed, all of her relationships that you're seeing now and her interactions come after the fact, not before. We even knew the woman who was running against Sheila Jackson Lee, Amanda Edwards. We knew who she was. Where is Jasmine's campaign? You understand what I'm saying? This woman was planted. Now we talk about plants and industry plants. Jasmine Crockett is a political plant directly from Billionaire Boule Boulevard. Y'all understanding me? Now, there's a content creator here on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. They found this video because it's very hard to find older videos of Jasmine Crockett telling her story. Very few. This being one of them. Shout out to DJ B. Make sure I wrote that name down right. DJ B. That is D-E-E. I'm sorry. D-E-E. J. That's J-A-Y-B. So D, 2 E's, J-A-Y-B. That's who put this video up. And I want to give props to them because I don't know how the hell they found this.
I've been licensed to practice in the states of Texas, Arkansas, and federal courts for the last 16 years. And I know when most people think about lawyers, they think, is this the person that sits at the desk or do you go into the courtroom? And in short, I was a courtroom lawyer, civil rights work. So for those that have been watching as the big police brutality cases have happened, I have usually represented the family members of someone who maybe was killed. I've also represented anyone all the way up to capital murderers or accused capital murderers, because I do have a few people that did not get convicted. In addition to doing what we call personal injury work. So basically, if somebody's in a car accident and they need to sue the insurance company.
Okay. She was a public defender. And I can't recall any of the cases of civil rights that she's referring to in Texas. I don't know what she's talking about. If anybody from Texas knows what she's referring to, what cases she served on that had something to do with civil rights in Texas, let me know if anybody knows. And why does she have a license to practice in Arkansas? Is she planning to be there at some point in time? Was she planning to go there and run for a political career? But they said, oh, wait, nope, this woman's on death's door. Let's place you here. When they had no campaign, people up here, oh, she's so bright. She's got put here. And y'all know what she has in her mouth all of the damn time. She's always talking about billionaires, billionaires, billionaires. Well, here she is. Are we going to say now with George Soros having his hands on so much that with this type of relationship, she's not doing his bidding? Who believes that?
I'm the girl that goes to court, sues the insurance company.
And you did that for how many years?
So licensed and practicing for 16 years.
And what did that teach you about yourself and prepare you for coming to Congress?
So interestingly enough, it's the law that actually drove me to want to write legislation. I was the girl that would walk in and say, this doesn't make sense. How can I fix this? And living in a state as large as Texas with 30 million people, 254 counties, You know, you think about it and you're saying, I'm walking into one courtroom with one case. I need to fix this for the collective. And so that is what drove me to run for the state legislature, where I served as a freshman, and then I ran for Congress. But it was my experiences, the real.
She didn't see something that you notice she does often. She says a lot and doesn't say anything. I guess she figured she'll take from Kamala Harris's playbook. But what she did actually say is that, again, that campaign supposedly that she ran, which can't find anything about it. I've even looked for her being sworn in to Texas. Can't find it. Like, I'm searching for this stuff. It is hard to find. This right here, it's going to be hard to find this interview. This stuff, like, they're scrubbing a lot of her stuff. And if you look for anything about her time while serving in Texas, you ain't gonna find it. It's all gonna go to it. And here's the cold part about it. Most of what they're going to show you is recent. 2024, 2025. At best, you might get something from 2023. Maybe. But as far as when she was running to get there and become a freshman, and what did she say? She became a freshman, didn't obviously finish out that term, to turn around and then run for Congress. That's a quick turnaround for a person that no one knows. No history, no nothing, and you just sail right through there. That, again, see, these people like to get out here and talk about billionaires. How does a nobody pull this off without a billionaire? Don't nobody know Jasmine Crockett. You didn't know her until now you know her because they're keeping her in your face. And all of these entities are beholden to those billionaires again. So when they talk to you about billionaire this, billionaire that, billionaire this, and also with felonies, how much felonies could you have for having cocaine in the White House? None. You can get a pardon from your daddy.
Life experiences that I just didn't really feel like lawmakers understood how these laws were affecting everyday people. And I wanted to go in and basically let them know this is what happens when you do this. And I thought it would be valued in the Texas House. Not necessarily is how I'll put that. And there's a former ambassador who talked to me when there came an opportunity to run for Congress. And he says, listen, you stay in Texas and you really won't get very much done, not what you want to get done for your constituency. You will be in a deeply red situation, a red House, a red Senate, and a red governor's mansion. But you have opportunities on the federal level. Even if you go into the minority, we know that things actually change on the federal level. And that's where you can really be a champion for your community. And I thought about that, and he was right. And so I decided that this really was a good opportunity.
Was there something or some
for her community? What has she done for her community other than talk sassy? And what she's trying to, so is her community illegal immigrants and Venezuelan gang members? Because that's who she's been caping for. Again, who is this woman and where does she come from?
Someone in your early years, maybe as a child, that triggered that interest in civil rights?
Oh, yeah, listen.
Honestly, no. So my parents weren't the marching type of.
Did you hear that? Was there anything from your childhood that inspired you to be part of civil rights? Actually, no. You don't think that's important? Her response, actually, no. Now, I have no thoughts of civil rights. Oh, no, not at all. All that marching madness business, no. Okay, let's back it up. Let's hear what that answer is, though.
there came an opportunity to run for Congress. And he says, listen, you stay in Texas and you really won't get very much done, not what you want to get done for your constituency. You will be in a deeply red situation, a red House, a red Senate, and a red governor's mansion. But you have opportunities on the federal level. Even if you go into the minority, we know that things actually change on the federal level. And that's where you can really be a champion for your community. And I thought about that, and he was right. And so I decided that this really was a good opportunity.
Was there something or someone in your early years, maybe as a child, that triggered that interest in civil rights?
Honestly, no. So my parents weren't the marching type of folk at all. It was my real lived experiences, some of the scary things that I've seen and some of the conversations that I've had to have with some mothers that really made me say, I need to do this. The very first time that I even, I guess, thought about it was I was in college. I attended college in Memphis, Tennessee at Rhodes College, the same school that one of our justices attended. And I was the victim of a series of hate crimes. And so it was the first time in my life that I had ever experienced racism. So I definitely understand those that think that racism doesn't exist, because if it's not a part of your reality, it's easy to say that it doesn't exist. And so here it was. I had gone to...
Did y'all hear that? This woman is trying to be so sister girl. She says, I can understand when people say that racism doesn't exist, because if it's not in your face, then it doesn't exist. This is not what we know. This is the behavior of someone that you actually got to ask,
where's your family from?
So with that being said, maybe there's some reason why her background being scrubbed off the damn internet. But see, and that's why this interview is so hard to find. So shout out to DJB. DJB might be a Kamala Harris supporter. They might want to take this video down after this. I don't know. But I will tell you this. This is what she said. And that demonstrates a distinct disconnect from the act that she always is putting on. That type of behavior comes directly from the women who see anti-blackness often. So why is a woman without that experience, until she got to college and experienced racial vandalism, couple key cars, she had to get her car painted. She wasn't kept from employment. She wasn't shunned on the job. She wasn't profiled. She didn't get this experience until she went to college. Doesn't that imply that she does not have a connection with the rest of Black folks who was living in the 90s and experiencing everything that went on in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s? She doesn't have a connection to that. She don't have a connection to that. And she's telling you that. So again, who is Jasmine Crockett? Where's her family from? And where is her history of a track record? 40-year-old people do not appear out of thin air. There needs to be some school. Even Kamala Harris has high school photos. Why doesn't Jasmine Crockett have any middle school or elementary school photos? There's nothing of little Jasmine. We're talking about this Black woman here, and Black girls rock and all of this, and you're really going to try to overhype the Black girl thing. Then where is her Black girl experience? And she just told you one major element that most Black women have already had. She didn't experience it until college by way of someone keying her car.
To a number of schools where I was in a significant minority. I never really felt that way. I just had my friends. We weren't, caught up on color, so to speak. And when I got to college in Memphis, of all places, I never really thought about racism.
She never thought about race her whole life, and she always was basically the only Black in school. If y'all saw the video that I did the other day, the Zilla Perspective video, actually that might be here. I did that here, where the sister is telling you about parents, don't subject your children to go to these schools where they're the only Black one. You're keeping them from their culture. Jasmine just told you she ain't went to school with her folks. Her parents did not want her around her people. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you the type of people and type of environment she really comes from. And it ain't what we are used to. She is used to being sheltered and away from Black folks. She's the type to where her parents believe the white man's ice is colder. She needs to get over here. And see, here's what you do when you're dealing with those type of inkwell Negroes. They're going to have their little Black girls separate from all of the rest of the community, but where they'll allow them children to interact is through the Jack and Jill program in their local area. That now it explains how she would be connected to the Deltas, because at every other avenue where she was at, ain't no Deltas around there. So that tells you there's an element there of her not really dealing with Black folks, but dealing with the Boule grooming system known as Jack and Jill. Now she's a full-blown Delta, Thetas, whatever, Sigma Theta. Sorry if I got it wrong and offended someone. Now she's a Delta, and she's a politician over there doing her most sassy, long web, wispy lashes, oversized lace front routine. And I'm telling you, now it even makes more sense. And I seen somebody make a post so many months back where they actually did compare side by side. And this is before I was even mentioning that she reminds me of a cheap knockoff of Vicky Dillard. And I believe that she's been watching like the likes of a Vicky Dillard and others to kind of get her relatability. You understand what I'm saying? Because obviously, as you hear her talking, she don't have that. It's not natural. It wouldn't be. How could it? So here's another Black woman telling you, well, not another, I'm sorry, a Black woman. The other woman was not a Black woman, but still everybody wants to tell you she's Black, and that's Kamala Harris. She ain't Black. But this one is melanated. The way she's acting, her father is a Methodist preacher, Methodist pastor, by the way. And actually quite a very well known in their ranks minister. So much so that he's in DC. I don't know how many people know that either. See, this is why I was looking at Jasmine Crockett from jump. Like, yep, what's going on here? And here it is. You needed a dark skin. Basically, they wanted the Nene Leakes meet Sexy Red of Congress. And that's the routine that she's willing to play. But seeing that a woman who grew up with a bunch of white friends, I bet you she didn't even start doing her hair right until college. That's probably why you don't see any pictures of her. Because a girl that grew up like that, oh, I bet her style was atrocious. So she can't show you them old pictures of her. Because I'm sure nobody over there had her looking like much. She was over there trying to look like them people. So again, the question of Jasmine Crockett now
Where's
is,
your family from?
gonna be hard pressed to find the origin of where her daddy and mama originate. I'm telling you, they was early on Jasmine Crockett. They did some scrubbing. Now, why? If she's really one of us, what do you need to scrub her history for? This woman 43. Why did she just appear in 2023? Did you rub a bottle and she popped out like the genie?
There either. And there was some idiot, we never figured out, or a series of idiots, not sure, never figured out who the culprits were, but they started keying our vehicles with the N-word. They put together what looked like Jack the Ripper letters and put them into our on-campus mailboxes. And there was a lawyer from the Cochran firm that was brought in by the school to investigate. And it was the first time that I said, man, you know, who helps people when they feel this way? And while we never got to the bottom of who did what, it was the comfort level that I got to see her and to know that she was there to be my champion. And I think that definitely initially piqued my interest. But by the time I got to law school and they told me I could actually make money, I thought, oh, great. You know, I forgot. But through a series of experiences and
I need somebody who's watching this right now to answer me one good question. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people, because she's Democrat, you are just going to overlook everything. What she just said about basically understanding Black culture when she got to college. Because someone she is nonstop telling you that she has had a major disconnect with the Black community her entire life. Almost like Emmanuel Acho, but we know he African. So he had to come over here and learn about Black culture in college, just like she did. So I hear all of this. She went to the private schools and this. Yeah, where's her parents from? Because this is giving the feeling of uppity tethers. And see, for all intents and purposes, that type of thing or thinking or person also would apply to Kamala Harris's parents. So you're bringing educators, because what, her mom is an educator? Either her mama was an educator or a bus driver. I can't remember the story, but she retired from the city that they were in. Her father is still preaching now. And I guess he's a big person in the Methodist denomination. So she's well juiced in on that end to have, and she's inclined and been in position to have wealthy white friends. So while she gets up here and does all this talk about Elon Musk and all and Doge and this and that, y'all need to understand the person who knows and who is more comfortable around wealthy white people. You're looking at her on your screen, man. She's the one, and she's telling you her upbringing. Her friends are of these households. So she never had to be privy to anti-Black racism. And obviously her parents never taught her about anti-Black racism. So she had to learn it in college. And because they had an incident in college where someone else obviously said, let's get someone involved, you had someone sent there from the Cochran firm who now all of a sudden Jasmine sees, wow, that's an advocate for Black people that feel this way. Does she not know the history of this country? Because she says, my ancestors built this MFA. Well, then where's that understanding here? Y'all got to know when y'all being kind, man. This is a kind woman, y'all.
growing and maturing, I did some soul searching and said, why did you ever want to be a lawyer? And it took me back to that moment of how I felt, to be so vulnerable and helpless, and to be discriminated against simply because of the way that I was born, that made me say, I need to get back to my roots of why I ever wanted to get into this work.
And it sounds like that's why you're here today.
Absolutely. Same thing. It's just a matter of how can I make this world a better place for those coming behind me. I look at it and say, you know, I'm only here because there were people that were willing to risk their lives for an opportunity that the Voting Rights Act be passed, the initial 5-page Voting Rights Act that was signed into law by a Texan, Lyndon B. Johnson.
This woman don't know nothing about our history here. This is why this video is hard to find. I see why now. This video is hard to find. And maybe they want this scrubbed off the internet because no one is probably many of you have not heard this, but I'm just saying, man, how on earth you can't fake a connection from what she just said. That tells you all of what you're getting from her, this whole sister girl routine. That's an act. And she doesn't even possess the understanding of our history. She's telling you right here, well, I had to go back. I guess I got to go back to my roots. Well, clearly these ain't your roots. What are your roots? Because now all of a sudden you done grew up with all of these white people and you get to college and now you're practicing law and something kicks in your mind and says, oh, well, I need to go back to my roots. Get out of here. No, that's when they called you up. That's when they called you up, Jasmine. Let's be honest. That's when you had that private meeting and they got you in there and told you how promising your career looks. And realistically, that's probably why you had that conversation and contemplated mulling over your choices about the future and getting more engaged in identity politics, to which you have never even carry this identity just in your daily life. That's someone else putting this on you to say, hey, we need these shoes filled, and there's nobody out there. Because realistically, who else can talk to Black women? And really, she's not talking to Black women. She's showing out for Black women to basically be a proxy with no substance. So now she'll get up there, and what she's now to do is to be the pacifier for that 92%. And that's why every time she opens her mouth about this border crisis and Venezuelan gangs, somehow we'll end up talking about Elon Musk and Trump's 34 felonies that he has already been sentenced of. He's been convicted and sentenced. So Jasmine Crockett, since you bring up felonies so much, should felonies be on job applications or not? Maybe champion that. Oh, here's another thing I also want to do, and you can help yourself to Google this as well. Look for her track record of legislation just to see what bills she's actually produced. When people come around and start telling you how smart she is, oh, wait a minute. When people come around, you tell you the accomplishments, she has none. You can literally go with her record. She has none. She's been placed where she is right now. She ain't got no accomplishments. There's no awards under this woman's belt. Don't exist, man. It simply doesn't exist. Uh-oh. Yeah. You do something here. I need to plug this. All right, we are back. We are back. I started without my thing plugged in, so all of a sudden started getting that low battery. Now, like I'm saying, this woman has no connection. She's telling you she don't. So that's why I wanted to, when I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness. So I went and started just researching, seeing if I could find like anything of her time in Texas. I can only find the people who were looking to take that seat that woman wouldn't relinquish. But now I know why, because, and then this is how much these Democrats and these billionaires that are behind the Democrats, they got the people in place that they want. So that Edie Johnson woman, they were over there complaining because she's an establishment Democrat. She died in her seat, just like all of these other Democrats keep doing, that say, well, this is the black one. She was nothing, no different than a Sheila Jackson Lee, or and have these poor districts. They districts be janky. You don't do nothing for them. And now here she is over here caping for Venezuelan criminals while steadily still talking about 34 felonies from white-collar crime. That ain't got nothing to do with a bunch of illegals that could take over a apartment complex. Then you have police, officials, and other people coming out to tell the American public that it was fake news. But now here you are crying and complaining about these planes that got flown over to Ecuador carrying these migrants. You got 3 planes worth of these Venezuelans that didn't exist because it was fake news, because somebody was giving us misinformation. Ain't that right? Well, then who are we bringing back on these planes? Ghosts? No, we're bringing back fake news. See, this is why the planes just got to keep going, because it's fake news. Some people don't really exist on that plane. You know, if you get those people who are eating dogs and cats and whatnot, they don't exist. So you can't bring back somebody that doesn't exist based on all the Democrats and media and The View and all. They don't exist. So who are you bringing back? Those are empty planes, right? Ain't no Venezuelan gangs. Right? But here she is telling you, I hope y'all will get it and get it good, because this woman right here ain't got no connection to the soil at all.
Texas has a rich history of doing decent stuff. When we look back, it's unfortunate that so many of the monumental things that we have stood on in this country actually were born out of Texas, and unfortunately it's Texas that is trying to take us back.
Let's see if she mentions Juneteenth.
A time before then, even Roe v. Wade. Henry Wade was the district attorney in Dallas County. The criminal district attorney's office sits in my current district. Sarah Weddington argued that case successfully as a classmate of my predecessor, Eddie Bernice Johnson. They were sworn in to the Texas House 50 years ago. And on that House floor, this young woman who was still in her 20s, only a month into her service into the Texas legislature, gets a call from the Supreme Court. And so Texas is why women have reproductive rights in the first place. Texas is why African Americans and other minorities have been saved from some of the Jim Crow relics that existed as relates to voting. Yet Texas is also the same state.
The hell is she talking about? She doesn't even, she's not even sharp on Texas Black history. She's up here talking about Roe v. Wade. And then say relief from Jim Crow for Black people and other minorities. What other minorities was Jim Crow targeting? The hell is she talking about? I told y'all this woman was a damn actress. And now I'm telling you, this woman, I don't know, Jasmine. Hey, got a question for you.
Where's your family from?
Because you're not talking like my people. You most definitely are talking about Texas. My wife's from Texas. She ain't never ever mentioned that's the place where Roe v. Wade was overturned. Hey, you know that Black people actually got a holiday that is born out of what happened in Texas? And matter of fact, that's why they have a big to-do on June 19th in Texas with the flag that literally has the date and state on it. Why does it have a star? Oh, man, you'd never guess. Because it happened in the state of freaking Texas. But she just knows about Roe v. Wade and how minorities got relief from Jim Crow. Oh, my God. If y'all fall for this, I don't know what to say. Don't ever come back over here giving your political opinion. That's all I can say. Woo!
That led the charge in making sure that they were going to spread what I consider to be a cancer throughout this country when it came to rolling back women's rights on reproductive health, when it came to rolling back access to the ballot box. And so I think that it's time for Texas to rise up and for people to see who the real Texas is. And I believe that I represent who we really are as Texans.
Did your predecessor give you any advice?
Oh my gosh, tons. You know what? The one thing that she said, because she did call me and ask me to run for the seat, was that she wanted somebody experienced. And there's over a 40-year gap difference in our age. And people kept saying, she's a little different from you. And I'm thinking, you know, there's a few generations difference.
No, there's not. Because, and this is why, like, I went and looked to see who was running, and I saw the other people who were running. I was like, oh, I can see exactly why the establishment don't want y'all. Y'all got some ideas for your community, and they don't want you in there. So what's funny is what she is mentioning, because these other two experienced legislators that were trying to get this particular seat, this woman was willing to die in this joker until they had this girl that they picked ready. So she sat in there till the last dying days, made room for Jasmine Crockett, snuffed out the other competition that literally had experience. She's saying the woman says she wants somebody to replace her with experience, but got Jasmine Crockett and snuffed out the people who actually had the experience. So why did you all of a sudden say, well, Jasmine Crockett is the answer? Because Jasmine Crockett toes the Democrat Party line regardless. That's why.
But the one thing that she said was, always keep the people first. Focus on the people. And
obviously
that's
not her
who
people.
I am. She wanted someone who had experience, but she also wanted someone who had a heart for the people. And so those are really the two things that make up who I am as a lawmaker. Those are the things that I'll continue to carry with me. And if for some reason this job becomes something different from that and starts to turn my heart, that's when I know that it's time for me to go.
Let's end on a lighter note. Some of your colleagues have said you have a profession elsewhere. And
it's not true.
And that's singing. So, if you don't mind.
Oh, no.
Favorite song.
Oh, okay.
Favorite song, and just maybe sing a little bit from it.
Oh, no. We're not going to do that part. But I don't know if I have a favorite song, but, you know, I'm a Texan, so I always got to support Beyonce. And one of her songs has been a theme for a number of my campaigns, and even right now, and that's Lemonade. And so I tell them, we may have been given a few lemons, but we are going to make this a lemonade session. We're going to add some sugar to this as Democrats, and we're going to turn this thing around. But I am the child of a preacher. And so I have always sang in the gospel choir. You're just required to when your daddy preaches. So, you know, I know how to blend in with other people. That's what I know how to do.
Now, she just did all of that telling you that she didn't really have experience around black folks. Then she tells you that her daddy's a preacher, so she's used to singing around us because that's what you do in these churches. She don't come from no black church. Stop it. This girl is a Methodist from the Midwest. No. Knock it off, man. Knock it off. That's not no Kojic. That ain't no gospel. She's not singing gospel. They're singing hymns over the Methodist churches. I mean, shoot, some of these AME churches, they going to sing you to death of old hymns. But see, we're not even talking about AME. We're talking about Methodists. They not rocking like that. You may find some in the country doing that, but her daddy ain't from Texas. See how she did? She moved to Texas to get her career popping. But her daddy ain't from no Texas. He ain't got no parts of that country. So to sit up here and act like she come from the black church experience, if she came from the black church experience, none of the other stuff that you heard her say in that video would be valid because her experience in the black church would have gave her all of her cultural awareness early. You ain't going to get to college talking about, I never knew about racism until I got to college and my car was keyed. Ain't even nobody calling you an N to your face. Shit, I got that in kindergarten. First few days of kindergarten, that was easy. Go to public school out here, boy, that's every day. They'll take a licking and keep on ticking just to look you in your face and call you, yeah. But she gonna come over here and say she ain't got no experience until somebody says something. Well, how do you feel? How do you grow up with it and live through it? She don't know none of that. She cannot speak for Black America at all. She absolutely cannot speak for Black America. Before I go, though, because that's really what I wanted to get. I just wanted to get that in. And walk y'all through that because I'm sure a lot of y'all never even heard that. I know I didn't. I heard that. I was like, wait, let me see if I can find this on the internet. And they got some, if you go look at some of the videos where she starts talking about her history, you'll go to those pages because even if you Google them, Google still has the like the video up and the timestamp of how long the video is. If you click onto that, CBS and took that shit down. Yeah, so them old videos where she's telling her like about her life and stuff. Oh, those videos have been taken down. 404 error. 404 error. They don't want you looking at Jasmine Crockett's past. Why though? Why is that? It's kind of crazy, isn't it? So let me. Oh, I did get that in here. Let me. Yeah, I'll just play because I was gonna play that little clip of Jasmine, but y'all heard what y'all need to hear. This is why this woman ain't about us. Also, and other people that you should not listen to are these jilted Democrats like Whoopi Goldberg.
You just got to keep your eyes open, y'all, because if they can just come up and take somebody because they've made a decision that you're supposed to be that person, any one of us could find ourselves being deported to some country.
Don't give them any ideas, girl.
Well, listen, you know, it is very clear to me that if we don't continue to say, we want, listen, I understand you want to clean out all the old, the bad stuff. get it. But why do you now have access to?
Now, come on, let's get together. Okay. You want to clean out the old stuff. No, you want to clean out the illegals. And so you're vacating the spot of this illegal invasion that Joe Biden has pushed, and especially pushed on Black communities, because those are the forefront and the front line of where all of these illegal gangs have went, right in the Black community, and these Black politicians and these Black Democrats and these white Democrats and all of these other random white identifying colored Democrats have all participated in this anti-Black agenda. And the one thing about it now, don't tell me about we could be deported, because we can't, Whoopi. And if we were deported as citizens, that's a hell of a payday for a foundational Black American. You think they're trying to do that? No, that's why they're going into these Black neighborhoods and cleaning up all of these, because they know where they put them people, folks. They know where they are. They get benefits from the state. They know where they are. Why do you think that they're getting them so easy? They know because revenue, internal revenue knows where they send these checks. And guess what? When you start getting these goodies from the government, guess who the checks are cut by? Internal revenue. So you're not escaping it. So to think that, well, they're just picking, they know who they got because they know who they're paying. And now that you guys have, blame Joe Biden. Joe Biden put everybody in that predicament. He didn't have to do that. And he had Kamala Harris pigeonholed so much so you know that she was a empty suit. So you didn't want a woman. I don't want an empty suit. We want a leader. If the woman is going to lead. But I don't want to hear all of this stuff coming out talking about, well, Joe Biden wouldn't let me do my thing, and Joe Biden wouldn't let me. You are running for president. You think, because you know how this is how they talk, where Elon Musk won't let Trump do this, and Elon Musk won't let you. Really think that's true? See, so that's the difference of the leaders, because Trump is going to do regardless what he doing, whatever he doing, regardless of even what a damn judge says. Now, here's the other part. If y'all want to stop him, stop him. Get off your ass and get some laws in action. But listening to The View and how these nuts have lost their mind wanting Chuck Schumer to side differently, folks, Democrats, your job is not fighting Donald Trump. Your job is serving the American people. You can't understand that. Well, then that's why you're losing. As for everybody else who is wondering why we are silent about deportations, it's because we are very clear from moment one that the Democrats had an anti-Black replacement theory agenda against us. So with these mass deportations, all you gonna get from the grassroots is hashtag fire up the jet.
Happy birthday, we're celebrating you today. Like Dr. King holiday, we ain't gonna do any work today. Happy birthday today, it's your beautiful day. And we gonna party all day like it's a freaking holiday.
Severing the tethers. Yes, indeed. Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Let it fall. And let us rise. Can you dig it? On another note, let me ask you something real quick that somebody said on my TikTok video, which was very stupid and idiotic, and I hear it often all the time, which is just an outright lie and a projection. But let me say this. for us to focus solely on ourselves is not a separation or a fight or a division, because we were never together. And so what we are doing is expressing unity for our own family members in our own house. And we're taking care of our own house. If you want to take care of yours, fine, take care of your house. Your house probably is in your homeland. Ours is here. And your house is not our family business over here. It's not about hating you. It's about loving us. So every time we can hear you tell us that we are promoting division or fighting the diaspora or hating you, that we need you to know how we see you. You are the one that harbors all of those animosities, because we spend zero time thinking about outsiders. It's all your imagination, folks. And what we want to make sure everybody does know, we are a unique group. We are a standalone group, have been, and we are the only group that has fought white supremacy face up, even in the face of our oppressors. Why? Because y'all are not like us. You might think you are, but you are sadly mistaken. But I understand. That's why I speak for myself. Beatzilla PDX official. The Beatzilla PDX official show. Those of you in the chat. The grassroots. And the voices of new black media. I think it's safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed. Remember,
it's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the flow. 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Yes, indeed, family. Y'all can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the buckets, you can definitely do so by way of CashApp. That's $ beatzillapdx. And we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Music. That is ZILLA MUZIK at PayPal. We also we do have Patreon. That link is in the top of the page. Now with that, also make sure you go to my new page and subscribe to Zilla Perspectives. Zilla Perspectives right here on YouTube. Make sure you go give that a subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that all word, and then go to those videos and give those a like. Let's get that channel popping, family. I appreciate each and every one of you who have tuned into that so far. Thank you so much. So like I said, there will be no live this weekend. There might still be shorter videos. If there's something that I want to address, it'll be in an airing video, so it won't be live. Like I said, you know, it's me and the wife's time, so that's what we're gonna be doing. So unless something crazy happens in this news cycle, which of course we already know it can, we already know it can. Oh, and real quick, for all of you Democrat shills who now understand the grassroots runs the yard,
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
it's getting rough out there for y'all, ain't it? So, I think that is it. That is all I got for y'all this evening. So make sure you keep that notification bell on. You know what I'm saying? And like I would generally tell you on the weekly wrap up, keep your 3 smooth stones at the ready. and your slingshot nearby. Stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all. Have a blessing.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yeah. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.